Well, you just talked about Kyle. That's quite a turnaround. Does that fit in with what you know about his personality to be able to overcome something like that?
Absolutely. As hurt as he was, he still took positives away from Torrey Pines, and that's exactly what he should have done. He didn't set goals this year as far as wins. He set goals for as many times he could put himself in position, which kind of takes a little pressure off of you. And I wasn't sure he'd get back this quick, but I knew he'd get back. But watching him get back in position and then find a way to win was really special.
Talking about mental toughness, I mean, everyone says that what it takes to win in sports and life is that mental toughness. What does it show that, you know, about his mental toughness that quickly he transpired? He went from blowing the 5-stroke lead to overcoming an 8-stroke deficit.
Well, it wasn't going to get him down, you know, but blowing the 5-shot lead was, I mean, it was just a temporary setback. He is so process and routine oriented, you know, and it's in his DNA and it's in his makeup. It's the way he practices, it's the way he prepares. And when you have those kind of building blocks mentally already in place, it makes it a little easier because you have something to go back to. You know, he had his process to go back to. And as hurt as he was, and he was hurt, he learned from it. And he tried to take as many positives as he could. He knew he was playing well. And the best thing for him to do was get back on that first tee. You know, and it's working. Let's keep it going. And that's exactly what he did. But it took a lot of courage. I mean, it took a lot of toughness. But he's a tough kid. He's going to do real well.
Did you have any contact with him after the disappointment, and then have you had any contact with him since yesterday?
Only through text. Jordan, I know, gets on his Twitter, and I think he's had some pretty good stuff on there, but I've communicated through a text message quite a bit, actually. And I knew he was fine going in this week. You know, he mentally was ready to play this week. He liked that golf course. He likes playing in the desert. And it was just a matter of time before he went ahead and trusted what he was doing. And now he had to have help. You know, you hate for Spencer Levine to do what he did, you know, because if he shoots even par, as great a day as Kyle had, it would still be a moot point. So he had to have some help, but it was almost like a payback from the previous week.
Have you ever seen something that remarkable, that big of a turnaround where a guy has that kind of lead and loses it, and a week later he overcomes such a deficit?
It's golf. I mean, it's a cruel game. You know, you're out there on an island. It's just you. There's no teammates. Actually, your teammate's your caddy. You know, so it's you and your caddy. You know, everybody in the field's pulling against you. You know, it's a pretty cruel game at times, but also it can be very rewarding, which is what's shown through Kyle on Sunday.
What did it feel like for you as the coach watching that yesterday?
As hurt as I was, what a difference a Monday attitude is. I was crushed. I almost physically got sick. I mean, I'd cooked my wife and I a steak, and we were going to sit there and watch Kyle win the tournament 2 weeks ago, and I had to put my steak back in the refrigerator. I could not eat it, you know, because I knew how he felt. And yesterday was very special. A little bit of redemption, yeah.
You could eat your steak.
I did. Yeah.
Tell me what this means for the Clemson golf program, just seeing Kyle Stanley's name and Clemson out there so much.
Well, DJ had a good week too.
Yep.
You know, Trahan finished 4th. You know, anytime our guys can get in the top 20, top 10, it's they're knocking on the door, and there's not that much difference between a top 10 finish and a win. You know, it's just a putt or two. So it's big. I think that's the 9th straight year we've won a tour event, which speaks volumes for our guys that are out there. You know, they're a good bunch, and they're not through winning. They're going to continue to win.
Talk about Kyle's legendary practice habits. I know there were sometimes you were out in the range till midnight.
Yes, he would love this setup here. We were kind of building all this when he was here, and we had just finished redoing our range. But one thing we always had here, because this used to be a RV parking lot, was the lights. Mm-hmm. And that was Kyle's domain at night. I'm not going to say he was distracted by teammates at practice, but he didn't feel like he could focus hard and get done what he needed to do with outside distractions. So he and I would come down here at night, and it would be from 9 to 12, and that went on for about a year and a half until he finally became more comfortable, you know, to kind of practice on his own and get stuff done on his own and go to the reserve. We would let him a lot during our team practice, go to the reserve by yourself. And he gets more done in an hour than the rest of our team would get done in 4 hours. You know, that's how hard he focuses when he practices. But yeah, his practice regiments are legendary, and they're well projected to our current players, just as how hard you have to work to get to where he is. And it's a great example.
How about I was also giving back? He's got a locker downstairs. He's going to give back.
Yeah, his first year on tour this year, he came back and played in our Tiger Golf Gathering. Of course, he's came back every year. From Gig Harbor, Washington, he has settled in Hilton Head, which he's only 4.5, 5 hours away, which is good having him that close. And he knows he can come back at any time, and he does. Yeah, he continues to give back quite a bit. And winning on Sundays, giving back. You know, that's showing our current guys what it takes and what can be achieved here. So every success he has is actually giving back to our program.